Okay, so it's time for my discussion on democracy. Now, I've done a heck of a lot of reading, and I apologise if I misquote something. I'm only going off a lot of lack of sleep, but yeah, anyway, here we go. So I could complain about Australian democracy. I could say it's failing us, but it's not really the democratic process that's failing us, it's the politicians. It's the people we elect democratically to represent us. You know, I mean, the whole idea of, you know, a lot of politics sounds a little tribal, don't you think? I mean, we're supposed to be a highly evolved form of life, you're right, but we're still basing our politics upon tribal thinking. You know, there has to be one leader. There has to be the chieftain, so to speak. And not only that, but, you know, they're members of a group, a party, and they believe this, and if you don't vote that way, and you vote with your conscience instead, well, you're going to get punished or frowned upon by the party, you know? Even if it was the right thing to do. I know it sounds a little like I don't like democracy, our current democracy I don't like. But what I really dislike is the politicians. The people who only care about feeding their ego and filling their pockets, and not the well-being of their community and the community at large. I mean, just this week, the independent remuneration, one of them, tribunal, claimed that politicians deserve a massive pay rise to make sure the right people are going to attempt to apply for the job, basically. Just to sit around and squabble like toddlers over who gets a shiny toy. Okay, so on to my idea of democracy. I've had my bitch. This is what I want to see. I want to see a variation of the direct democracy idea from circa 500 BC Greece. Although unlike the Greek version of democracy at that time, we were probably going to allow women, foreigners as in immigrants, slaves as in minimum wage employees and those on the dole, and people who work at McDonald's, the chance to vote as well. So what is a direct democracy? Well, the idea is you gather the populace together on some form of register, say the census that we already have. And it's full of all the information that we ideally need for the process. And we take people too young to vote and people who are not citizens off the list, and there is where we have the pool to draw from. Now, the Greek version was you would draw randomly a group of names, and they would be the politicians. And those people, I assume, had a chance to turn it down, but why would you? When you have an opportunity to change your country, and you have, assumingly, the time, or your job will let you have a certain amount of time off, or, you know, this is something for other people to discuss. Greater minds than mine, I'm just throwing it out there, hoping for the best. So this is where my idea of direct democracy actually differs. Like I said, it's a variation, it's not true direct democracy. What we do is we take all the portfolios of government, education, agriculture, defence, treasury, all of it, everything, every single portfolio, and we take, say, I don't know, a random number. I don't know how many people you'd need to do this, but I'd say 101 people. One person to become the speaker, and therefore they lose the ability to vote, but they're the ones who are put in control of the whole group, basically. And say 70% of the group would be common people drawn from the major pool of people with multiple skills and no very specific skill, or maybe Actually, from the whole pool, okay? And then you get 30% that are drawn randomly, that from the pool, that the census says has specific knowledge on the subject. So you've got 30% that know what they're talking about, 70% that are hopefully a little bit more intelligent, well versed. But intelligence isn't key, because a lot of this is to do with what you believe to be right. Okay, so this is how we get our groups, and they become the people drawn for those specific portfolios, thanks to census. Okay, so we know we've got professionals in that group, drawn on a random system. We know we've got people from the community at large drawn. How do we get them together? How can we get all these people into contact at the same time? Skype, the internet at random. Australia's the largest country, so this would be the best chance to actually start doing this, and prove that it'd work for smaller scale systems, I imagine. The other reason why I'd like Australia to be the first to do this is because I think it'd be great. But you know, I mean, everyone's got different ideals, and maybe I'm a political idealist, I don't know. But we can talk to people halfway around the world in real time, or close to real time. So why can't we set up conference calls for all those people involved that can't make it to the actual meeting? Instead of having to fly everyone down to Canberra, we could just have some form of communications set up. Wouldn't that be amazing? Okay, so how do we pay them? How do you decide how much somebody's worth? Good question. Think about what your hourly wage is now. Okay, so you're a professional. You're a bricklayer. You earn $75 an hour. You're a doctor. You're a professional. You earn, I don't know how much doctors are paid. I imagine it's a lot, but then again, you never know. You could be a plumber. You could be a surgeon. You could be a computer technician. You could be... I'm starting to sound a bit like Dr. Zeus. You could be anything. You could be on the dole. So you work out, well, not you specifically, but a independent group works out what the average is for your profession. And that is what you are paid per hour. Because that is the skills that you've garnered to make you a professional, or to make you suitable for that. And that is what you are losing to become a politician for a year. Because each term would be only a representative of a year. Okay, so I've explained that. It does seem a little unfair, but this system, it would take 20 years to get a decent balance. The way you'd make that decent balance would be to start off straight off by making all forms of education free, and I mean good education in public schools. University, free. Want to get a doctorate on mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, archaeology, free. Want to be a doctor, free. There's one catch that comes with the free education though. There's only a certain time limit for you to educate yourself. So if you fail at your subjects and you keep on failing by not showing up or not having interest or such and so forth, then you're out. Yes, you can have multiple doctorates, multiple understandings, making you a much more versatile person. That's fine. That's free. You have to prove that you're able to do that. But hey, so that's how you make the balance. Because if all you've got is the knowledge you're carrying and your profession, and it's been given to you for free, with the understanding that you may be called upon to represent your country as a politician, then it's a bit like jury duty, isn't it? I mean, some people turn it down, some people have things on in their life that they can't do. Fine. Chosen from a different field, chosen at random from whether it's a professional field or the other. Say you've got lots of kids and it's just a bit crazy at the moment. Okay, fine. So you've got a religious belief that stops you from doing this. Fine. Not a problem. Okay. I know it sounds messy, but I think this process would remove ego completely out of the equation, because we're only talking about 1 year terms. Each year would be a different group, or it could be the same, because it is allotted at random. I'm not saying exactly the same, but yeah, it'd take away our inability. It's a double negative. It'd give us the ability to be masters of our country's destiny. I think it'd make people stand up and listen to what's needed. Like, imagine if a former immigrant to Australia, now become a fully patriated Australian, has a chance to speak about the whole process of immigration into the country, the state of Christmas Island from the inside, instead of just on the news based on bias. I think this would give our country a conscience and give us a chance to set things straight again. So I think, honestly, this is the best idea. So in conclusion, I hope I've challenged your thoughts. I urge you to debate this with me. And if you're more knowledgeable on the subject, feel free to comment. Please do. Feel free to video blog back to me. If I've ticked you off by sounding whiny or too closed-minded about democracy, please by all means reply as well. All replies are welcome. I'll decide my next topic based upon a random generated idea over the next week, or I'll just make something up next week, I don't know. Until next time, remember, bad sagacity, poor judgment is just another learning curve.